life. Appreciate your patience today. It is an interesting day outside. I did not anticipate the amount of snow we were going to see today. So I hope you're having yourselves a great day today and staying warm out there in central and upstate New York and wherever you may be. So very happy to have you here where sports meets that thing called life, and always appreciate you being with us inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, as well as on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location of North Syracuse. And you are here inside of these Cafe Kubal Studios with us all around the world on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all /WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com /LiveNowDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage. So however you're connected with us, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I appreciate you so very much for being here with us where sports meets that thing called life. Can't thank you enough for being a part of the show. So many thanks, much appreciation, much love, and respect to each and every single one of you for joining me here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. A lot of great things coming up on today's broadcast, and I am so excited to be able to bring these to you. First and foremost, though, I want to say that I hope you're staying safe, and I hope that you are being good to yourself, being good to each other as we are out here in this world. And listen, we are better together. So know that, understand that, remember that, appreciate that. We are far more better together. So whatever's going on in your life, however crazy it is, I hope that you know that. I hope that you can live in that in those words, right? That we are truly better together. So good morning, happy morning to each and every single one of you out there on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I send you my love and my appreciation, and I hope you're having yourselves a great morning this morning, no matter what the weather, no matter where you are. Talking with people all over the country and the world, so appreciate you so much. You know that inside of these Cafe Kubal studios, we are decked out in Witty Wicks stuff everywhere, and the candles, I'm going to do this on the air live. I'm going to light the candle because this is my newest Witty Wicks candle, and I am such a fan of this smell. So this is the Mother Fudger, and you can see there's a little can you see the little chocolate flakes? I don't know if you guys can see them, but because the light's so bright, but there's little chocolate pieces on top here. And this smells incredible when it's not even lit, so as they all do. So now we have the new one in studio, because I was showing you guys that my candles were finishing up here because I light them all the time. I love my Witty Wicks candles. I put my money where my mouth is, and when I tell you, hey, go out and get something, I'm not just saying, hey, go out and do it. I'm not going to do it. If I tell you to do it, then I'm definitely going out and doing the same thing. And Witty Wicks is a prime example of that. I was there yesterday shooting a video and made sure that I got myself something before I headed out, because they have some really great stuff at Witty Wicks and 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York. Make sure you head over there and support local. With that being said, we have a jam-packed show coming on here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So many great things coming up where sports meets life. We're going to jump into Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin'. First topic of the day, we're going to jump into the first of our trio of Friday segments that you get every single Friday. The Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. And then we're going to jump into LEAD, which is an acronym, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Then we'll jump into the Top Dog of the Week announcement. I'll be spotlighting somebody as our Top Dog of the Week, presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. And we'll finish off the show around 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time this morning, as I am joined, as you know, on this show, we have Syracuse alumni all throughout the year, and someone who is no stranger to the broadcast, who has joined me for every basketball season for many years now. Sonny Spera is going to be joining the show, and excited to have Sonny on the broadcast to give his take on the current state of Syracuse basketball, Jim Boeheim, the zone, and so much more. So all things Cuse coming up with Sonny Spera in hour number 2, so make sure that you stick with us all the way through this Friday show, and why wouldn't you? We love spending our mornings with you, and we appreciate you being here with us. So, with that being said, we are going to jump right into the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like, and it is up first, as it is every Friday on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The annoying moment. I love doing this. The annoying moment of the week.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like. And my annoying moment of the week for this week would have to go to really fantastic food, viciously overpriced. So, listen, I know we've been through a lot these last couple of years, and we've seen a lot of things, we've gone through a lot of things, and the food prices, obviously, I understand they've gone up, and people have to adjust and whatnot. But there's some astronomical food. I went to get some Hispanic food, and it's really hard, in my opinion, to find a good Hispanic place in Central and Upstate New York. And maybe I just don't know your place yet, and you could send it in and write it on the feed, and I'll try it out. But as a card-carrying Italian Hispanic, it is very hard for me to find. I mean, it's easy to find some Italian places, hard to find the Hispanic places. And I found a place. Well, somebody found a place. And I was like, you know what? Okay, you know what? Let's, it was their idea. I said, we could try it out. Let's go there. Let's do it. And so we tried it out, and the food was amazing. It was so amazing. The price was insane. And if you're hungry, then, if you get one small, if you get a little small taco, a little teeny taco, it's not going to fill you up. Okay. So if you're on like a first date and you're like, let me get a taco and try to eat it daintily or whatever it may be, right? But they're little, they're not big, but they're so good. They're so good. They're fantastic, right? They're fantastic. And yet they're wildly overpriced. And so now I understand, like I said, that, food costs go up and, companies are trying to maybe make up for some of that and whatnot. And I get that. I do. I get that to a certain degree. But the price of food, when you pay for it, you can't hit your consumer to the point where the consumer says, this food is really good, but I don't know if I'll come back here anytime soon. Because the food is good, but it's expensive, right? It's really expensive. And to me, I'd have to take out another mortgage on my house if I was going to eat this food all the time. And so I really liked it. I really, really enjoyed it. But it's my annoying moment of the week because I jokingly said during the snowstorm, I said, hey, I'm going to go get myself some of this and it's going to be great, right? I'm going to go get myself some tacos. And I jokingly said, it's probably going to cost me like $37 because I knew that when I went last time that it was, a little expensive. So I said, I know it's going to cost me like $37. I got 5 tacos that cost me $40. $40. 40. 40. Not 14, 40. And it makes you think about places where you're like, man, if I went to Taco Bell for $40, I could have got 87 tacos. So I mean, there's that side of it, but there's also the side of it that the food, I mean, it was really, really good. It was really, really good. And I have no issue with how good the food was. And it, but to be worthy of $40, no. So that's almost $9 a taco. Which to me is insane. It's insane, right? Because normally when I go out to dinner, I'm like, okay, it's not that bad, right? $20, $30, something like that. But when you go out and you spend that amount of money, it gets intense. And So for me, it was too much. It was too much. It was too high, and that's why it's the annoying moment of the week. Because now I Jones for it, right? They got me. You ever get a restaurant that gets you? They get you, and when they get you, they know, like, okay, they tasted the flavor, then they saw the price. And after that, it's like, well, we got them now. And they do have me now. I mean, the food is fantastic. If they wanted to be a business partner, I would proudly support them. And I would proudly talk about how great the food is. I would, without doubt. I wish the prices were a little bit better, but the food is fantastic. And I'm not going to say that it's not. It absolutely is fantastic food. It's just a little bit too high. And it's got to come down. And maybe it will. Maybe food prices will. We'll see. But we were talking about this. I was talking about this with somebody yesterday, that the food prices of some things, people put them up because the cost went up. But when the price of the food came down, they kept the cost the same. So if it was like, chicken wings, $13 for 12, then they made it $20 for 12. When wing prices went down, some places didn't bring the price back down. They said, well, we got people to pay $20 for wings. Let's not change their mind. Let's keep it here. So we're going to make more money because they've agreed to pay it at $20. So we're not going to go down with the times. We're going to keep it at 20, maybe all year long, make a ton of money when wings are cheap. And then when it goes back up, we'll break even or make a couple bucks. So, it's good business sense. At the same time, the consumer is the one that always hurts. So all I have to say is, as my annoying moment of the week, I would get these tacos every single day. And if I got these tacos 5 days a week, it would cost me, I don't even want to do it, it would cost me $200. So, that's why it's the annoying moment of the week. So I would say that. And I don't really think weather's the annoying moment. I know people are like, the weather. I will say the weather a couple days ago when I was supposed to travel down to a game was my annoying moment of the week, because that weather prevented me from getting down to the game that I wanted to go to. So, you ever drive in the snow and it starts coming to you like Star Wars, right? Those high beams go on, you see the snow flying at your face, and it looks like you're traveling through time, which to you in that moment, for a split second, you're thinking, oh my God, I'm in Star Wars, I'm in Guardians of the Galaxy. I am literally traveling through a wormhole through, I'm defying all tests of time and whatever. And so you're in this thing and it feels great. Then you remember, you look down that you're on the road and you can't see where you are and you have no idea where you're going. One time in Utica, I was driving and the snow was crazy and it was coming right at you like stars, but there was so much of it and so frequent and so fast that it mesmerized me, and you couldn't see the road. So the snow's coming at you and you cannot see where you are on the road at all. The only way that you know that you're actually still on the road and that you're on the right side of the road is if a car's coming and it's driving by you with its lights on the other side, and you're going, okay, because it was one way each way. So, yeah, I would say probably that weather prevented me, and the ice, right? The whole thing, you woke up yesterday morning and it was like Jack Frost sneezed without a mask on your car, and there was ice all over my car. But to me, I'm a kid. I think it's cool. So I hit it and I love to see it chip and break apart. What I don't like is that I didn't break the ice off the top of my car because I didn't think it was a big deal. And then it started flying off when I was driving yesterday. So this one guy gave me a ton of distance because the ice was flying toward his car, which I feel sorry about. Sorry, sir. But yeah, so please make sure you take the ice off your car to the best of your ability. Please travel safely. Give yourself some extra time. But my annoying moment of the week is that the food is so good that I want to pay for it, but it would be $200 a week to consistently get tacos. So that's a tough bet. Maybe once a month, maybe one. See, but that's the thing. It's so hard. This is why it's the annoying moment. It's so hard to find a good Hispanic place in Central and Upstate New York. So when you find it, you want it. But there's another place that I've been to that my dad brought me to, and it's so good. And you get a ton of food. You get the platter. You get to try 5 different things. And the price is great. I think the price for the two of us trying a platter, my dad and I, was less than going to get tacos by myself at this other place. So, and the thing is, too, because they say, oh, a lot of college kids go there. I don't understand how they pay for it unless mom and dad are just like shelling out that dough, because I remember me as a college kid, chicken flavored ramen and peanut butter sandwiches with no jelly. That was my life. Peanut butter sandwiches and ramen noodles. And I was okay with that. But if you got the dough to go get yourself $40 tacos daily, hey, more power to you. So I don't know where the money's coming from, but more power to you. So with that being said, those are my annoying moments of the week, right? I had a great week, right? And I think, every week there's always something you could talk about and joke about and whatever. This has been kind of a heavy week for me. I got a friend that I'm praying for. If you can pray for them, pray for my friend. Pray for them to just follow God and be at peace and be in a good place. So it's been it's been an interesting week. It's definitely been an interesting week, and I'm still getting over what being sick did to my throat and my mouth, my vocal cords. So I had this like weird just sinus infection with another infection. It was just not fun at all. So this has been a week of kind of getting better, and amazing things happen this week. Teachable moments happen this week. Caring for a friend happened this week. So, if my worst thing is that I ate arguably the best tacos of my life and they cost $40, I'll take it. I also ate them watching the basketball game, Syracuse's basketball game, and that was the only good thing about the game. People are like, what was your favorite part? Was there anything positive you took from that Syracuse basketball game? My tacos. Tacos? Yeah, that's what I took from it. What I ate while watching the game was the best part of that Syracuse game. Sonny and I will talk about it in just a little bit on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We're going to take a step aside and this kind of leads right into it, per always. I don't do this on purpose, folks, but I wish I could take credit for it. The annoying moment of the week going into lead, they always seem to join together perfectly, and they're going to do that again, because I'm talking about watching a game that was not exciting and thrilling to watch, yet I was watching it eating tacos that I enjoy. So what do you enjoy in life, right? And people say it's the little things. Well, the little things become the big things, in my opinion. So we will talk about what we enjoy in our lives right after this. Weigh in, go to Facebook.com, YouTube.com, or MixLR.com, all /WakeUpCallDT. And when you go there, join us on the feed and tell me what your things are in your life that you enjoy the most. What do you enjoy in life? What are those things that you can always go to and they can kind of bring you back, remind you who you are, and give you that breath of fresh air? We'll talk about it after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, as well as youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, all /wakeupcalldt, as well as on facebook.com /live-now-dt, inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets life. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, bringing you what's poppin'. Ma and Pa's always poppin'. By the way, I introduced somebody new to Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory yesterday, and they not only ate the whole that bowl right there, right? You put that out there, you give them that little bowl, you say, hey, you know what? You give them one taste. Try a one, then two, then you get a little bowl, then the bowl is gone. So just so you know, Ma and Pa's, you have yet another new fan, which is nothing new to them, but I wanted to let you know. Always happy to bring somebody to the companies that I work so closely with and appreciate so very much. 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Shout out to Ma and Pa's. You got a new fan, and you always have a fan in me. With that being said, inside of what's poppin', we're jumping into lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. It is the acronym LEAD that I created back in 2019. I can't take full credit for it because I believe, in my opinion, God gave me this idea. I was like, I want to do an acronym. I want to do a faith-based segment. My show has faith interwoven in it and everything I do, and that's who I am as a person. So I want to have a segment dedicated to it, but I need to find the right acronym. And lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver came to mind. And then right after that, COVID happened. So, you know, it's been awesome to have this segment and to see this segment grow and blossom and flourish, and I appreciate all of you that have been a part of it. And of course, I give a very proud thank you to the wonderful, wonderful Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay teams and Jimmer Sikowski who have believed in this. So thank you so much for all of that and your belief in me and our mission and our vision here. Today's topic, what do you enjoy in life? Because some people, this sounds like an easy thing, right? To somebody who's healthy, and what I mean by that is to somebody who takes the time to take the time and takes care of themselves and takes care of their health and is cognizant of, I need some me time, I need to do something for me, I need to recharge my battery. That might be an easy answer for you. But to people out there that are different, this may not be an easy answer at all. What do you enjoy in life? And they're like, oh, I take care of my kids, I take care of this, I do 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 this. And it's like, okay, well, that's a to-do list. What do you do for you? What do you enjoy in life? You know? What do you do? And here, I'm going to throw something crazy at you. I believe that you should do something good for yourself every single day. Not every week, every day. Not once a month, every day. Every day, Dan? Yeah, every day. Now hear me out. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, okay? It's not like you're going to, I'm going to go shopping, I'm going to buy myself something every single day. I'm not saying that. I'm saying pick something for yourself every single day. It could be going to Cafe Kubal and getting your, okay, like for me, and I'm not saying this because I work with Cafe Kubal, this is the God's honest truth. Many times in my life, I have gone to Cafe Cubal to do something nice for myself because as you know, those of you that listen to the show religiously, you know that I like my chai, right? And so I will go to Cafe Cubal and I'll treat myself to a chai. And that's something that I do nice for me. I'm like, you know what? I want a chai today. Yeah, I'm going to pick a flavor. And to me, it's to you, it might be something totally small, right? It's not a big deal at all. Oh, Dan, it's chai, whatever. But to me, it's a nice treat for myself. And so I'll go out and do that, right? Sometimes I take myself to a movie. On a day like today, perfect day to take myself to a movie, right? It's snowing. It doesn't look great out by any stretch of the imagination. It's going to be cold all day. It's going to be snowy. It might be rainy. It might be sleety. It might be icy. So I just want to go to the movie and kind of just, relax and watch something fun, right? So that's something I might do for myself, right? What else do I enjoy in life? I like going, yesterday I did this. I like going to lunch with my dad. So I went to lunch with my dad. I like going to see my mom, really doing anything with my mom, because my mom and I did stuff growing up, so I'm just so used to, even when my mom and I have to do a task, it's still fun. So I love just going to see my mom. So yesterday, think about this. You think about how crazy life is, and I think about that too, running around doing different things. Yet, yesterday, I went to lunch with my dad. I got to see my man Joel Carpenter from 317 at Montgomery Street and get some awesome pork tenderloin. That sandwich is incredible. I got to see my dude Chef Roy. So I got to do all of that by going to lunch with my dad. Then after I went to lunch with my dad, I went and hung out with my mom. Right? And so I got to see my mom and my dad back to back. And then, you get to talk to some people. I got to catch up with some people I haven't spoken to in a while. I prepared some stuff for a couple weeks from now, so that made me feel better. That was something that I enjoyed. Yes, it's work related, but I enjoyed it because it's giving me peace of mind for what's coming down the pipeline, what's down the road. So I like that I did that, So that was nice for me too. And, like I said, I went out to Witty Wicks. I got to see their staff, who's super nice. So I got to enjoy that. I got to grab, a little treat from Witty Wicks, which I like to do. And I shot a video and I had some fun. So to me, little things, right? Going out to Witty Wicks and just kind of looking around and seeing how people are doing and, trying to do something nice for the people that are out there. That's important to me. And then not only that, but to go out and, after, to go, to me, that's fun. Going out to Witty Wicks, shooting a video, seeing the staff, saying hi, putting out something nice out there, supporting local. I enjoy that. I feel good when I go into a restaurant that I work with and I can show you a picture and talk about the food and do different things. I enjoy that. I enjoy doing that. And so to me, it's like, yeah, it's work, but it's not. So going out to Witty Wicks was fun for me, and because I love their stuff. And so that's cool for me. And then seeing mom and dad was fun, right? Going to the movies is fun. Playing with Lily, I love that. I love waking up in the morning and just laying with her for a few minutes and just having her snuggle up into me. Last night she fell asleep on my leg, and I love when she covers me. I love when she lays by me and she puts her head over my body. She puts her head like over my chest or over my leg or over my foot. And it makes me feel like I got you, Daddy. Like I can't be close enough to you. So little things like that I enjoy in life. So that's today's topic. What do you enjoy in life? Think about it. Think about it. Are you doing enough for yourself? I'm not saying be selfish. Okay, and I want to get rid of the stigma of this. There's this ridiculousness of when you're good to yourself and you do something nice for yourself, there's people out there that are jealous of you, or they just want your time and they want your attention, so they try to make you feel guilty. And what do they say? They say, if you go and do something for yourself, they say, you're being selfish, right? Oh my gosh, I can't, you went out and saw a movie, you did this, you do that, you're so selfish. That's not selfish. Doing something for yourself is not selfish, right? It's not. And people that make you feel as such It's because they have an ulterior motive to the conversation that they're having with you. So, to me, you have to really pay attention to those things. The people that call you selfish, you are so selfish. I can't believe how selfish you are. Selfish of what? That I went to the movies? That was really selfish. You could have worked. You could have done this. You could have done that. People that make you feel guilty if you just sit on the couch, right? I'm not saying sit on the couch every day and do nothing. I am not saying that at all because I'm not a fan of that. I'm saying sit on the couch, give yourself a couple hours, right? Maybe you need to sleep, right? Maybe you need a little break. We all need a little break. And it's important for us to take care of ourselves. And I want to get rid of that stigma of taking care of yourself is selfish. It's too much. It's not, you're not taking care of other people. You're not doing for other people. So there's that guilt of, oh, did you do so? You went to the movies today and you went to the restaurant by yourself and you ate your favorite sandwich and you just realized, oh, that's so selfish. No, it's not. It's healing. It's positive. It's good. It's healthy. It is healthy for you to do at least one thing every day that is just for you, that you enjoy doing. Not hurting anybody, not being selfish, but that you enjoy doing. It could be calling a friend. It could be playing a video game. It could be taking a walk. It could be calling your mom. It could be saying, calling up your dad. It could be I used to take my grandmother I called them on dates. Grandma and I would go on dates. I'd bring her to the hairdresser. I'd pick her up. Or my mom would bring her and I would pick her up. And then we would go to get lunch. And then sometimes we'd go to the zoo or we would go see a movie. On a day like today, I might go to grandma's hairdressing appointment, pick her up, and we'd go get some lunch. And then we'd probably go see a movie. My grandmother and I saw movies everywhere. Movie Tavern, Carousel at the time, Shopping Town, potentially Great Northern, definitely Shopping Town. But we would go all over the place, and we would just watch movies together, and we would have a good time, right? I loved sitting with my grandmother even if we didn't even talk. I loved playing War Against her, the card game. So you got to think about those things that you enjoy to do. And now that my grandmother's up in heaven, I can play war with somebody else. I was thinking today, I'm like, I got some things that are on my schedule that I have to do today, but there's some other things that I would like to do today. And, it's like, oh, I'd like to see this friend and just grab dinner because I haven't seen them all week. And I'd love to just grab dinner and catch up with them and laugh and see how they're doing and just eat good food. Life is a lot simpler than people make it, right? People say life is difficult and life is... Yes, there are things in life that are trying. There are things in life that are not easy. 100%. Starting a business, not easy, right? At all. At all. And sustaining that, right? Continuing to build and do all that. This is not something that just happens. A relationship needs to be nurtured, right? Everything in life, every relationship needs to be nurtured. Work, personal, whatever it may be, it needs to be nurtured. And so I'm not saying that life is easy, but we overcomplicate life. Something as simple as going to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and before I went, I wrote down all of my predictions on a sticky note. And I wrote one for a friend, and I gave it to them, and I kept one for myself, and I put it in my back pocket, and I saw the movie, and I want to see how many I got right. And then I bumped into that friend yesterday, and we talked about it. And they took out the sticky note, and they're like, I had it when I went to go see the movie. I had it in my pocket, And you had these right, and I think you had this one. And it's like right after the movie, I pulled it out of my pocket, showed it to my mom, and we were talking about it. Little things like that. Like, you kept the note that I gave you. Oh, you brought it to the movie. You actually thought about it, and you still have it with you today. That's really sweet. That's really kind. Thank you. Little things like that. Being 37 years old, and on Valentine's Day, my mom and my dad still doing something to say, hey, bud, I love you. Love you, kid. You know, here's some chocolate hearts. Here's your favorite candy. Here's your Reese's. You know? To just drive out to the house and drop something off as a surprise and be like, hey, when you get to your front door, call me. Little things like that. What do you enjoy in life, right? And I want you to do something every day. And it doesn't have to cost you a penny to do it. Right? I enjoy those $40 tacos. I'm not going to get them every day, but I'm excited to get them again. And every time I think about them, I think about the carne asada and I'm But I want you to do that. I want you today to go see a movie or call up a friend or sing a song or dust off that record player or get your favorite hat and put your favorite hat on. You know, I get excited to go out to a Lemoyne game and choose my hat. And that might sound like nothing to somebody, but what I wear always has a purpose and a reason. Like today I'm wearing Prince's symbol, right? So that has a purpose and a reason. I'm into my music. I love Prince. I like the shirt. I like how it fits me. I feel good in it. I want to wear it, right? Now, when I go to the Lemoyne game tonight, I'm going to pick a hat of choice. I love my hats. My hat game, I don't even know, I got 200, 300 hats, whatever. But my hat game, if you know me, every day I have to purposefully pick my hat. I don't just take a hat. I got to pick a hat that fits me in that moment that I want to wear. And I love wearing the hat. You know? What did Greg say? Love playing cards with my grandmother. Miss her greatly. Yeah, brother. She's up in heaven playing cards with my grandma right now. He said, your G-Mama had a standing ongoing hair appointment. Yeah, like any old woman. I don't want to say any old woman. Like any seasoned veteran of life. That's what I'll call my grandma. She's not old woman. She never acted old. She wasn't like that. So, yeah. My little Italian grandmother had a standing hair appointment. They knew every Friday what time Marie was coming in to get her hair done. So, yeah. And the way you asked me that, I'm guessing your grandmother did too. So, but yeah. So, find those little things. Find those things that are meaningful to you. Like yesterday, I finished the show and I texted my dad. I was like, you want to get lunch? Because I just really wanted to get lunch with my dad. And I love that my dad's alive. And I can text him, and I can hear from my father, and get to see my father, and hug my dad, and sit with him, and have a conversation. And then seeing my mom, there was something I had at the house for her that I've had for weeks, and so I brought it up. I put it in the car, and I brought it to her, and things just happened to work out. And then we had a really nice conversation, and I think, we've been through a lot these last couple of years, and in the conversation, my mom and I, really got to kind of find our way back to ourselves, because there's like some very deep things that we're similar on, and I feel like we have to be there for each other, and sometimes you lean on somebody and sometimes you're hard on somebody, and and I think we had that conversation yesterday without having that conversation yesterday, and it was really beautiful. And it reminded me, my mom reminds me all the time that she's just a good soul. She's a good soul person. Like God gave her such a great purpose. And, she's just such a wonderful, wonderful person. And she needs to see that, because we all see it. And I tell my mom all the time, like, I want you to see how awesome you are, because we all know. We know how awesome you are. Nobody does it like my mom. And it's so cool, right? And I've had my mom my whole life, that in my head, everybody's mom is like my mom. And that's not the case, unfortunately. But she's just incredible. She's incredible. So yeah, Greg said, so your grandma had a standing appointment. Love that. And then John said the thing he appreciates that he enjoys in life is pasta dinner with his mom every Sunday. Yeah, that's right. Right? Sunday sauce. That's what we do. Sunday sauce. That's what I do with Papa Joe and Mary. Every time I go down, I try to make sure, obviously I'm going and I'm doing my Jacksonville games, and those are typically on Sundays, and then we have Sunday sauce. As soon as I get out, I'm never rushing out of Jacksonville because I love being there with the team. As soon as I get in that car, I couldn't get home fast enough. Once I'm in the car, I want to be there in 4 minutes because I want that Sunday sauce. I want to be with my brother and my other set of parents. I want to give my big brother a giant hug. I love you, Joey. And I just love those moments. I love Sunday sauce with PJ, Mary, and Joey, and then sitting and watching a movie or a TV show or a game. That literally, we go from the kitchen table to the couch, which is like 3 steps, 4 steps. It's like kitchen table to the couch, and it's some of my happiest memories of my life are sitting at that table and sitting on that couch. And they're right next to each other. And besides the cost of the ingredients to make the food, most of that is free. The conversation is free. The sitting there and watching the shows together is free. We're not spending any gas. We're not doing anything. We spend most of the time in the house just loving each other up and watching stuff and talking and laughing and crying and having just real deep and good conversations that are, that show that we know each other, we love each other, and we're invested in each other. So, I'm grateful for all of that. Yeah, I love going to Disney. Yeah, I love the Jaguars. But nothing compares to going and seeing people that genuinely love you. Yeah, I love going to get food with my mom, but the food never tastes better than being there with your mom and seeing your mom just be the amazing person that she is. My mom has a beautiful smile, and she has a personality that people fall in love with her every day. And like, if moms, okay, put it to you like this. If the best mothers walk the red carpet, my mom would be on it every day. Beautiful, smiling, making jokes, having a good time. And I know she'd call me, honey, you want to be my +1? Going to the Emmys. And I'd be like, heck yeah, Ma, let's go have a good time. So, that special time, right? And sometimes it's by yourself, right? Sometimes it's by yourself. And you have to have things that you love by yourself, right? Maybe there's something that you love to make. Maybe there's music you love to play. Right now on my record player, I love No Jacket Required from Phil Collins. My thing now is to listen to the 3rd track. Why doesn't anybody stay together anymore? I love that track. I never knew that track before I bought the vinyl record. And I've been listening to songs on that record / tape that we used to put in the car. I've been listening to No Jacket Required for years, but I've never heard that song. And the only reason why I listened to it is because on a vinyl record, you have to let it play. So there was obviously a purpose for me getting that. The God was like, I want you to hear this song. And I'm like, why? I was just washing dishes. So I love to listen to that record right now. I love to cook for myself. I got back into cooking more. Made some stuff, loved that, made some stuff last night, and so I love to do that. I love to play with Lily. I love to just get down on the ground and play with her. I love to see her wag her tail and have a good time and run around. I love to throw her toys to her. I love to do that. I love to go, like I said, I love to go see movies. I love myself, if I have a favorite drink or something that I like, I love to do that. Get a little favorite drink, and it's little things in life that I appreciate, like going through everything that I went through, with my throat and everything these last few weeks. My treat for myself is Frosted Flakes. I put Frosted Flakes in a little bowl by the bed, and I watch games and I just snack on some Frosted Flakes, watch a movie, watch Joe Coy. By the way, his special from the LA Forum is fantastic. You got to watch it. But it's things like that, right? A t-shirt can make my day. A t-shirt that I love to wear. A t-shirt, stand-up comedy, watching a Marvel movie, going out to see a movie, calling up a buddy and laughing. So my thing for you today is I want you to do one thing, just one thing, and start to make a habit. Habits take 3 weeks. All right? Habits take 3 weeks. So I want you to get into the habit of doing something nice for yourself that you enjoy in your life. And I want you to do it every day. And it doesn't have to be the same thing every day. But I want you to do at least one thing that you enjoy every day and watch your life change. Watch your stress get less. By you taking care of yourself and doing something nice for yourself on a daily basis, watch your life change for the better. Because once you start doing nice things for you, those things start sticking with you. And you start realizing, wow, by doing something nice for myself, I'm less focused on the things that other people are doing and the things I can't control. Because no matter what anybody says or does, you can always take care of you, and you can always do something that you enjoy. So do it. Start taking control of your life by simply saying, hey, what do I want to do today? And maybe it's something to eat, and maybe it's something to watch, and maybe it's somebody to talk to. Maybe it's a game to play. Maybe it's somewhere to go. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's silence and prayer. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's playing with your dog or your cat or your bird. Right? Maybe it's music. Maybe it's pulling out your favorite toy from when you were a kid and turning it back on and playing with that light bright again. Right? Maybe it's showing your kids that light bright. Putting the tablet down and showing them what imagination is. But whatever it is, do it today. Because life is too short to waste a moment with a shoulda, woulda, or coulda. Get those out of your vocabulary. And start fresh today. We'll take a step aside for a fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. When we come back, the top dog of the week will be announced, and Sonny Spera coming up in just a few minutes inside the Café Kubal studios. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm
George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was, selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Café Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic day and hopefully a great week. And if you're not, well, we're going to make it better, right? We're going to continue on a Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora to be a part of your morning. And by the grace of God, I'll be with you for, let's say, the next 100 years, right? Let's keep it rocking and rolling. So happy to be here with you inside of the Café Kubal Studios and inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Next up in our schedule of today's segments, we have the Top Dog of the Week. Top Dog of the Week, proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. I can't do it without Lily, so bring us in, Miss Lily. The Top Dog of the Week here this past week, we were honoring Clay Gagan Sherman, so you could see him here with us. The Top Dog of the Week for this week on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora has to go to, without question, the people that are out there taking care of our safety. I want to give a proud thank you to those that are plowing, salting, doing all they can to make sure that the ground is safe for us, that the sidewalks are safe for us, that transportation in general is safe. I want to thank them because, you're in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and you hear the bang, psh, what is that? They're dropping. You hear that bang and that push, that on the snow, and that's the plow dropping and pushing that snow. 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever it may be. But they're doing that for us. They're my top dogs of the week because they should be. They don't get thanked enough, right? We have the expectation of, we yell when they're not out there. And listen, I've done this before, and I apologize. I've done this before, right? Good morning to Melanie here, and a good morning to Mama. Mom, I hope you heard the words I said about you. If not, well, I'll say them again anytime. The reality, right, that we typically get upset when something's not plowed or something's not iced, right? How could they have not been out here on the road? Blah, blah, blah. I got to go to work, yada, yada. Right? That's how we feel. But how many times do we say thank you when they are out there, when they do plow? Or the fact that yesterday, or a couple days ago, when I had to go out to an event and it was just really, really bad outside, that I was driving behind a plow and I felt totally safe. I'm like, I was going to stay behind this plow. Right? And so they're my top dogs of the week, and they're my top dogs of the year. And not just that, but the people that pave the roads, the people that take care of of our ability to go out there and do the things we need to do, right? When you're walking on, okay, put it like this. I was down in Arlington, Texas, right? Had never been there before. I didn't know where I was going. But thank goodness that somebody decided to go out there and make the streets have, on these main like highway type roads, that we had these safe sidewalks, so that when I did get lost, I was able to be on the sidewalk. I was able to figure things out from there. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the fact that it wasn't just road and nowhere to go, but that there were sidewalks there. I'm thankful for the people that fill in the potholes. I'm thankful for the people that, make it a point to say that I'm thankful for the people that fill in the potholes. I'm thankful for the people that, I'm thankful for when the lights are working, the street lights, for when you're walking at night, right? So I want to put a proud thank you out there to those that do the thankless jobs. The people that pick up our garbage and our recyclables. The people that do the jobs that we need, but that most of us say, oh, I would never do that. I would never drive an 18-wheeler. I would never go out there and plow. I would never want to shovel this. I would never want to fill in potholes for my life, right? But somebody does. And because they do, you can go to work. Because they do, you can go visit your kids. Because, people complain, oh my gosh, we're 5 minutes late taking off in the plane. Well, because they decided to de-ice twice over instead of once over, because they didn't want ice to get stuck on this plane and bring the plane down. There's a difference between being 5 minutes late and not being alive, okay? And I'd rather be 5 minutes late and them double check and go over it more than once than to be like, let's just see what happens because the lady in 14B won't shut up, so we're just going to take off and hope to God that the ice doesn't pull the plane down. There are so many thankless jobs. So many thankless jobs. You get to a restaurant, well, that table's open, why can't I sit there? Well, the busboy didn't clean it off. Oh, well, come on, busboy. And then the busboy comes, oh, well, finally. Maybe that busboy was doing 19 things. All right? Maybe he just got done or maybe they just got done bussing, 12 tables. And they went to the back to eat a sandwich for 5 minutes, barely got through a corner of it and had to come back out because it's busy. Yeah, sometimes people don't care. Yeah, sometimes people don't do their job. But there's other times where people do care and they do their jobs. And we need to applaud that. I had somebody in my family have to call the cops this week because of stuff that happens in our neighborhoods. And you know what the cops said? We don't have enough people to get out to all these places. We're short law enforcement. Why do you think that is? It's because of all the things said about them publicly. Why would they want to go to work? They're afraid to go to work. They're afraid to do their job. They're afraid that if they do the right thing, it's going to be perceived as the wrong thing on the media. And by trying to save a life, they're going to end up going to jail. So, could we do a better job at saying thank you to law enforcement? Thank you to EMTs. Thank you to people. There was a nurse recently that, last few months in the hospital that someone thanked for taking care of their loved one. You know what the nurse said? Nobody ever says thank you. Nobody ever says thank you. You're in here saving lives every day. And she said, we appreciate that because people don't usually say thank you. People don't usually thank us. They don't usually thank you. You're saving their families' lives. You're protecting their family. You're keeping their family alive. You're helping their family be comfortable at the end of their life, maybe. And you don't hear thank you that much? What? So, Let's do a better job of saying thank you and meaning thank you and giving it up to our top dogs of the week. Because if I'm being real, the people that take care of our roads, take care of our kids, daycare, teaching, right? Wherever we drop our kids off, we want them to be safe. When we get on the road, we want to be safe. When we get in the air, we want to be safe. When we get in the water, we want to be safe. When we are anywhere, we want law enforcement to be safe. And God forbid anything happens, we want the best health care around the clock. So maybe we should start saying thank you a little bit more. They're my top dogs of the week because this week I met them firsthand. And this week they did things that are normal to them. But I'm thankful for my roads. I'm thankful for getting home safely. I know my family's thankful that I got home safely. I'm thankful for the people that have been taken care of because I know what it's like to take care of my grandmothers and, and see people doing the right care and the wrong care. So I want to thank those people that don't get thanked enough. You're my top dogs of the week. And Lily agrees. Top dog of the week, Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Go to either one of them. I suggest both. And I say either one because some need short-term care, some need long-term care. Some of you drop your dog off for the day. Some of you got to drop them off during, spring break or winter break or whatever it may be. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, 315-437-7110 is the number to call. 315-437-7110 for the daycare. Bring the dog for the day. Set that up. Hey, every Monday I'm going to drop off, Comet, 9 o'clock. Pick them up at 3. Call Canine Camp Dog Daycare. Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, longer term care for the dog. Every dog gets their own cabin. Nobody is there without a cabin. And you can go and call them at 315-299-4013. It's 315-299-4013. They're both in East Syracuse, right off of Bridge Street. And they have earned the right to get your phone call. And I'm talking from first person connection with them. They are tremendous, tremendous people led by Lorraine. And besides my mom and my dad, this is the place that I would tell you, hey, you trust it. And some people have their parents do it, some people don't. To have peace of mind to go on. When you go on vacation, you're going on vacation to de-stress. You don't want to go on vacation and be worried about where the dog is. When you go to Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, there's peace of mind of saying, my dog is with people that love dogs, love animals, take care of them, treat them as their own, and they have so much fun with them. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's so unique unto itself, and I appreciate them so much. So big, big thanks to Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. With that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show. Speaking on all things Cuse Hoops, once again, big shout out to Lorraine and the team over at Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We will be back momentarily on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with Sonny Spera to talk all things Cuse basketball right after this from inside of the Café Kubal Studios with our beautiful Witty Wicks candle shining ever so brightly and give me that heat here on a cold day and smelling like hot chocolate. Make sure you go out and get your candle from Witty Wicks and so much more today, 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. Appreciate you being here. 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York. You can also find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners, so make sure you head out there today to Cafe Kubal. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. So a lot of great places to go. Each of them has their own identity, which I love. It's I always say Cafe Kubal is kind of like the parent, and the kids are the locations, because they're all from the same family, but they all look different, have a different personality and way about them. So make sure you head out there today. Let them know the Wake Up Call sent you, and we appreciate you supporting local as always in our great community of Central and Upstate New York. With that being said, here inside of these Cafe Kubal studios, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', our final piece of today's broadcast featuring Syracuse Orange Basketball alum Sonny Spera, joining me to talk all things Cuse Hoops, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously the season, the team, the makeup of the team, Jim Boeheim, and people's obsession with Jim Boeheim's future, which, I mean, I thought there'd be a little bit of a break of that over the years, but it's not. If anything, it's heightened up, and it's probably the question I get in sports more than any other question throughout the entire year. I get it in the off season, I get it during the season, multiple times a day at times, and so we'll talk about Jim Boeheim, and we'll discuss everything surrounding the college basketball world when it comes to Syracuse, New York. With that being said, let's bring him in. Sonny, how are we doing today?
Doing great. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing well, and so, first and foremost, Sonny, looking at this season, seeing this team, broad paintbrush to this thing. We're so many games into the season. There's a few left in the regular season. There's the ACC tournament in Greensboro coming up. How would you describe what you've seen on film from Syracuse so far?
Oh, I've seen moments of brilliance. I've seen a lot of youth mistakes. That inconsistency, and I think what's driving Coach crazy is the effort. The lack of consistent effort across the board. You get it at times, you don't get it at other times, and the margin for error when you don't have absolutely superior top-level talent, the margin for error is razor thin.
Yeah.
So a good effort is not good enough. You need a great, outstanding effort all the time on all areas.
Oh, we lost. Let's see if we can bring him back here. We lost Sonny for a second. I don't know why. So we'll see if we can bring him back in. Let's see. All right, Sonny, you were saying consistent effort, and we lost you there for a second.
Oh, Jesus, sorry about that. It's a consistent effort across the board. Like the margin for error is razor thin. We don't have superior talent to other teams. The talent has leveled out a fair amount across the country, across the quote mid-majors, etc. With the transfer portal and everything else that's there, you don't have this has and have-nots as much. You do in certain situations, but those are your elite programs, and we've always done well with very good players and very good effort. And so now our level of talent is good. It's not fantastic, off the charts, all 5-star, first round draft picks, like we had, a couple of times in the past. But for the most part, you've got to be on your game and literally at the peak of your performance at all times, and that's a very hard thing to accomplish.
Yeah, especially when there's youth. 6 freshmen, 1 transfer in Munir Hema, and that's what I think people forget. And you and I were just talking about it off the air a bit, but I got asked every time we go into the season. You get asked the question, well, Dan, what's going to happen? What do you think? Is this an NCAA tournament team? Can they win a championship? Like, where are they going to go? And I said, in years like this year, I can't give you. I can say whatever I want to say, but I can't give you, in my opinion, if I can't give you a weighted prediction with factual evidence or something that I really think can back it up, I'm not just going to say things. And 7 new faces, more than half your team, and you lose Cole Swider and you lose Buddy Boeheim, and I don't care what people say, Jimmy Boeheim, in my opinion, was one of the best fundamental players that Syracuse has had in a while. He outsmarted people, and that's how he scored, and that's how he did different things. He knew how, I'll never forget that dribble, think about it, go up, that little baby hook that he would have, that you're thinking, okay, well, this guy's taller than he is, this guy's got more weight on his body, got more muscle, this guy's this guy's that, this guy's a double machine, but Jimmy could beat him in certain areas because he outsmarted players, because he was hip to the game, and I appreciated that. You take that off the team, and when you take those pieces away, then you say, okay, there's new faces. When I get asked the question going into this season, what do you think? What is this team going to do? I said, you can't.
You take away those players, but look at the amount of games that they have in college, D1, under their belt. Look at the experience level that they have.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you're it's showing a little bit for sure.
And you when you have that and you go into the season and you, like I said, you get that question of, well, how good is this team going to be? I said, I can't answer that, and nobody can answer that. When you have freshmen that have never touched the college basketball court before. You can say whatever you want to say about hype, but I'm not a hype guy. I'm not a guy who's going to buy into the hype. I want to see you do it. I don't want to hear how great you do it. I want to see it. And Munir Hima, seeing him now, the man's got great hand-eye coordination. I love how he blocks shots. I love his tenacity. I love how he wants to play the game and go after everything. I appreciate that. I appreciate Judah Mintz's ability to create for himself in a way that a lot of Syracuse players haven't in recent history. There's good things, but going into this season, Sonny, I mean, I'm sure people asked you, there was no real way to say what this team was going to be when we hadn't seen more than half of this team ever play a college basketball game.
No, very true. Very true. And then you have a lot of guys that are playing similar positions.
Yeah.
And, I thought, the expectations on Benny Williams, I think, this year were very high. I thought back year for him. The kid's got talent out to wazoo, and, getting that, again, it's a consistent effort. I mean, there are times when he looks like phenomenal, and there are times where he doesn't, and he's a great player. So now you've got Chris Bell, you've got Malik Brown, you've got Justin Till, you got, and then Q, you got a lot of these guys that kind of fit. Are they a 3? Are they a 4? Are they on the bottom of the zone? Are they on the top of the zone? That kind of thing. So you got a lot of different pieces, and Coach has played more players and more combinations than I've ever seen him play in my life. And he's used more players per game and more rotations. So that's a difference that I don't think we've seen in the past, and I think that's boded well for us. And I thought, and I still think that's going to bode well for us down the stretch, because a lot of these guys have had a lot of different minutes and a lot of different moments where at any given night one guy can step up. And I think the energy, at least around the team, is better. I think it was hard. The Clemson game was hard to watch, but the level of energy on the floor has got to be at a very peak high level.
And here with Sonny Spera, Syracuse Orange Basketball alum on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Sonny, I mean, the fan base, as you know, playing here and going to games, there are people that will show up every game, and like anywhere else, there's people. Well, I can't say like anywhere else, because some will stay all the way through no matter what. I mean, there's some teams that have been awful, and people stick it out. I mean, I go to the Kansas City Chiefs when they were a 2-14 team, and they got a new stadium because the fans are packing the stadium when the team wasn't that good. This year for Syracuse, I've never experienced a year like this in over a decade of covering the team since coming back to New York. I have not seen like a 15,000 to 19,000 on average. I mean, I'm not used. These are like November games, right? And the games that they expect them to win, it's like, we had 18,000. But the fan base has not been very present in the Dome this year. Are you surprised, not surprised in that?
A little surprised. I think it's hard because it's sort of... it's almost like a little bit spoiled. We've been spoiled by our success, and it's almost expected. And like anything else, we want more. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a good team. Everybody wants to have a good team. Everybody wants to root for a good team. And I think, to me, I said this in the beginning of the year when I saw the team and I saw the players and the different pieces, and I could see it and hear it in Coach's voice. And I thought this was going to be his best year coaching ever, of creating a cohesive unit with this crew of, I guess we'll say, under expectation players across the board. And at times we have. I mean, you saw it at North Carolina State. To me, at North Carolina game, even though it didn't end the way it should have, that's our game. And the Virginia game we have. I mean, there's just so many those close moments that you kind of were like, man, we got to close some of these things out, and that's a learning experience. But I think getting this team, to the point where they're going to be way better at the end, which I think we are, than we were at the beginning. I mean, people were ready to slash their wrists when the Bryant and the Colgates and those games. I mean, you know, people were, you got to take their shoelaces away from them because they were losing it. Yeah. But those were some really painful lessons that I think were going to bode well for us down the road.
So you look at games like that, and you look at the fact that wherever you move the three-point line to doesn't seem to matter anymore. Centers shoot threes. There was a day where Dirk Nowitzki did it for the Dallas Mavericks, and people thought, wow, he was all by himself doing that. He's pretty incredible. And now everybody and their mother does it. 7 foot, 6'11", 6'9", doesn't matter. So we know that teams shoot threes. We know that, you know, there's guys, big men, dribble the ball up the court. Some teams don't even have a traditional big man anymore. And the 2-3 zone is not even built. And I will say this a million times over. You've coached, and I've had the opportunity to learn and play most of my life growing up from 7 years old on to learn all of it. Box and 1, 2-1-2, 2-3, 3-2, man-to-man, so on and so forth. The 2-3 zone, we only played it against teams that were good inside. We gave an extra man down low. We gave some help to our center. That's what it was there for. It was never there to stop the three. And I said, in a way, it's doing what it's supposed to do. Syracuse isn't stopping the three, and the zone that they play in isn't meant to. A lot of people are getting frustrated with this. The zone, over time, has given up games. The zone has made teams look far better than what they are. I remember the Virginia game. They came in like 43, 45% from three, and they shot 70% against Syracuse. And that was a season where I think 3 teams shot better than their typical percentage. And you start to see these patterns and say, okay, this isn't a fluke. What are your thoughts on the 2-3 zone? Does Boeheim have to become more open with the way the game is today, or what do you see?
No, I disagree with you. I think the zone is designed because it's not a 2-3. It's not your grandmother's 2-3. It's not the 2-3 I grew up playing. And it's not the 2-3 that I played in rarely at Syracuse. We played man-to-man mostly. The 2-3 is a matchup. So it's not really a 2-3. If you look at it, it's kind of it's kind of amorphous. It almost looks like a 1-2, a 1-2-1-1 at times, depending on the rotations. You know, we have had, you know, we won a national championship because Hakeem Warwick was out and blocks a jump shot in the corner. We have had the length and the talent at those positions to really cover that ground and make those shots hard and contested and hand up, or we've gotten some really good steals. I mean, I think we lead the ACC in steals most every year, and nobody ever talks about that. Judah, if I'm not mistaken, is leading the ACC this year in steals. Judah Mintz, right? So it's predicated on the team is mostly going to, you know, they're going to pass, because what were we taught when we were kids? Well, pass the ball around the zone. And the only team I saw do that really successfully was Clemson, because they were able to pass it wherever they want, as quick as they want, and it made it very hard for us to make those adjustments. As well as they got every stinking rebound. When you get every rebound, you're going to shoot a high percent, because it doesn't matter if you miss.
Yeah.
You're going to get the ball back. So, talk about green light. I got 15 green lights in front of me saying, chuck that sucker if you have a whisper of an opening. That was hard, and that was set with the very first possession. They got 6 threes. They made 1. Well, from that point on, sure, they made some more, but, the confidence level got pretty sky high. Well, listen, just throw it up there. And I remember Jamie Dixon at Pitt. I think they used to throw it up just to go get the rebound, because they were such an offensive rebounding machine when he was the head coach at Pitt. I think that's hurt us a little bit. And I know coaches talked about the rebounding discrepancy early on and frustrating and finding the right combination to combat that. We can't ask Jesse to do everything because he's, I thought he was leading the ACC in rebounding too. And, we got some top stat people, but we have struggled in that. But getting back to your point about the zone covers ground. The zone is meant to get out to the shooters, get them off of their spots. You can't really give up those wide open catch and shoot threes, because, I remember watching a clip on Mike Krzyzewski talking about with Kobe Bryant. I don't get open catch and shoot threes, and he's like, you're going to get open catch and shoot threes, and you have to make them. And that's what he tells his players at Duke. They were like, you have to make the open three. So you're right. Teams are geared up, and there's a lot more three-point shooting across the board at every level. You can watch a high school JV game. How many kids are chucking threes? It's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's just part of the game. It's just the world we live in now. It's an open, almost a European system now. You open up on the outside. And I think the one thing that we did well that I'm not sure that we've gotten as well or played as well this year at is creating either deflections or pushing some of those passes out, like not letting them catch it on their spots. I think we've allowed them to get the ball where they wanted to a little bit easier, and that's been a problem.
Yeah.
In the games that we've had problems.
And
not every game.
And to your point, Sonny, I mean, it is not, like you said, your grandma's 2-3 zone, but this zone doesn't work unless guys are willing to run, get to their spots, put their hands up. I mean, we were taught this in any zone. If you don't put your hands out, you don't put your hands up, then you got nothing. If you aren't quick to it, you got nothing. I mean, you look at when was the zone great the last time, and a lot of people go to Michael Carter-Williams, right? They go to those moments, and they talk about Trevor Cooney, how, Boeheim said, he's not on the floor because he shoots threes. He's on the floor because he plays defense. And when he didn't do that early on in his career, he's like, I didn't keep him out there. So there's pieces to the zone. There's elements to the zone of whatever it looks like, whatever hybrid it is. They're not doing the things that they need to do as far as where their hands are. Kadari Richmond was great at jumping a passing route and taking that ball away because he would go to where he needed to go. He'd get his arms out. He'd make himself bigger, and he would anticipate people. We're not seeing that. We didn't see it a lot last year. We saw kind of people just go into their spots and like almost going through a practice motion, no hands up, just kind of, I'm supposed to go here now. And the guy would go over, and the guy would still shoot over him. Jesse's good at blocking shots, but somebody had said this to me a couple times. They're like, yeah, Jesse's blocking shots, but Jesse, as the center in a zone that's working correctly, should not have to run out to the corner to do that. And Boeheim's brought up the fact that he wants to see more out of the forward play.
Well, he has to get out. It depends on what they do in the zone, right? Like, if the ball starts on the right side, it gets to the right wing. That's the guard covered, and in that corner, right? That's the low post. If that reverses around quickly, when it gets to the opposite wing, that's the low big has to come out and get to that. If they happen to get another guy to the corner and it's a quick ball reversal, that's where the center has to come out. That's the only time the center has to get to the corner on that scenario where we've already extended and stretched the one big, we'll call it the 3-man on the left side, and then when it reverses, the 4-man's got to come out to the 3 at the wing if they have shooters there, and then if it's in the corner, then that's where the 5 has to come out. There was plenty of times in the past where Jesse was taken out of games because he wasn't getting to that shooter. Pascal, the other big fella, he wasn't getting there quick enough. And when they got it, when they were able to do it, it changed things. Because now they've moved it around, and now I don't have an open 3. And we've got 5 perimeter players. There's nobody really inside. And it's the rotation. I think the one thing that I think is underestimated and misunderstood is the amount of energy that you got to expend in a zone. It's not a time to rest.
No.
In the old days, you got foul trouble. Let's pack it in a zone. Let's protect. Let's rest on defense. No. It's the exact opposite. You have to work way harder on defense, and then then you do what you would imagine on a man-to-man. And a man-to-man is tough, physical, and we struggle when we see the very physical defensive teams. It's always been a little bit of a challenge for us. Always at the guard spot and at the big spots. That's been our problem a little bit with the offensive end. But on our defense, it requires a tremendous amount of effort. tremendous. It's not a watch and see. It's not you got to anticipate, and then you got to get there. And I thought we would be a little bit better at it because I don't think Cole and Jimmy were the quickest bigs that we've ever had. So I thought, okay, you got Benny, who we know is a lightning, and now you've got, okay, Chris Bell, okay, Malik Brown, even Justin Taylor in that spot, even Q in that spot. I think are a little more athletic to get to those spots and affect those shots.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a thing. I mean, it's talking. Zone is talking. Zone is working together. Zone is making sure, like you said, you can't take breaks. Virginia's great at it. Virginia's hot potato has beaten Syracuse so many times, making 5-6 passes and just getting Syracuse to consistently have to move, and gain those and just know where they're supposed to be in those spots and anticipate some of these things. Like I said, Kadari did it well. Michael Carter-Williams did it well. There were people that knew what they needed to do in those moments at those times. And there's guys that are learning and getting better. Again, young team, and a lot of these players come in and they play man-to-man. So they're learning this. There's positives, though, in this season, and I want to lean on those because there's a lot of things that are being said. I know we're kind of breaking down this zone and piecing it apart, and there's a lot of people out there that are sick and tired of the zone and they want Boeheim to stop doing it. But let's look at the positive side of things. What are you seeing? I know we talked about it a little bit, but what are you seeing from this team that you do like, that you are leaning back and saying, okay, we're almost 30 games into the season, and these are the pieces that if I was the coach, I would build on this for next year?
Well, what I like is I like the fact that you've got 8, 9, 10 bodies, all capable and all confident now. And that's a hard thing to achieve when you typically play 7. It's hard to get that 8th or 9th or 10th guy, to the point where they're ready to step in and contribute, in a high-level game. I think we have that. And I think the energy that surrounds the team, because of that, I think that picks up life around the bench, et cetera. So I think that's a factor. I think we've grown up, so some of our freshmen are not playing like freshmen anymore, and they shouldn't be. Judah, knowing when to go, when not to go, or when to go, when to take it yourself, when to find your teammates. I think Malik and Jesse have a kind of a nice combination. They look for each other well. They finish well. That's a good combination. Those two are rebounding, I think, a little bit better. I think we need to pick it up a little bit in some other spots on the glass. And it's just a matter of, coach has said it a million times, just go get it. Just go get the ball. And I think, I think Q has that kind of that hungry tenacity there. So his contributions, increase a little bit. Stuff like that. So I think the good things are that the versatility that we have across the board, and Joe, I think, has the pressure off of him. He doesn't have to handle the ball. I think that's freed him up to be a little more creative at the 2 spot. Samir and Judah playing on the court at the same time, or Samir spelling Judah. I think, there's some really nice pieces there. And I think now it's a matter of who's playing the best when it matters the most. We certainly weren't peaking early. I think we can all agree on that. So I think now is the time that it's time to get paid for what you've invested. So we've invested in a lot of these guys, meaning time on the court, make mistakes, learn from it, film, session, and create a better team. And I think that's where we should be, and I think that's where we are.
Yeah, coming from Syracuse Orange Basketball alum Sonny Spera here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Sonny, you mentioned the fact that Judah Mintz leading the ACC in steals per game, number 1 with just shy of 2 on average per game. Jesse Edwards leading in blocks per game with just shy of 3 with 2.8 to lead the ACC, and second in rebounds with 10.2. Yeah, second in rebounds.
Who's number one? The kid from Bandicoot, the kid in Carolina?
Yeah, Armando Baycoat is there. So he's got 11.1. Jesse's got 10.2. Jesse with a ton of games this season where he has brought a double-double to the house. And I honestly think Jesse can average that. I really do. I know there's some games where he's gone quiet, but not many. And, so I think I want to make note of that because you made note of Judah Mintz and where Jesse is here. So this team is not where I think people might think they are. Jesse's also second in field goal percentage, and I know obviously he plays inside, but 58.5%, and he's behind Omier from Miami, who is at 59.4. But
we know Coach, right? We know Coach is probably playing Jesse out of position because he's our best 3-point shooter. He's shooting 1,000%.
That's true. That's true.
So I think we got to talk a little bit about that too.
Yeah, Benny. I did speak to Benny after that game, and Benny said, "If you ask me, I told him he should never shoot again and stay 1,000% for the rest of his career." He's like, "I don't think he should ever attempt another three. He can go down in history saying that he never missed a three in college." So, I'm good with that. Let's get into the Boeheim side of things. Sonny, I don't know if you hear this in the Southern Tier. I don't know if they talk about this a lot. Probably not a big subject for the last 47 years. Maybe the last let's say the last 20 years. But this whole thing about Jim Boeheim and whether or not he should retire, I don't think anybody cares about that. But it's brought up so very much. It's talked about all the time. It's consistent. It's like the game ends in the Dome and there's like a rumbling of it, not even 2 minutes after, it feels like at times. How do you do? I mean, this is your coach. So many, he's been a coach to so many over almost 5 decades. This man has made Final Fours in multiple different decades. He has won to the NCAA 1,000 games, but to people that live in reality, 1,100 games. How do you look at his this obsession? Because I really can't call it something less than that. The obsession of Jim Boeheim's retire. I don't think anybody else has been asked to retire more than Jim Boeheim in any profession in the world. So I'd love to get your thoughts on the fact that your coach is constantly being brought up, whether he wins 25 games or 18 games or Sweet 16 or doesn't make the tournament. There's always some type of, is he done this year? Is this the end for Boeheim? Those articles are written every single year.
Yeah, it's the same old story, right? I mean, it's just SOS, same old, different day. It's just funny. It's it's funny. So this is his 47th year, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So in 47 years, he's had one losing season last year. Okay. How many other coaches in NCAA history can say that?
Right.
Okay, we'll agree. 0. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's taken a team, and he's taken a school and a university and an entire community, and he's been loyal almost to a fault to his team, his university, his community. He's never parlayed that into big dollars. He's never turned around and held the school ransom. He's very underpaid. I've said that a million times. So to what does he get back? He gets criticized at every waking moment.
Yeah.
Too much zone. Not enough talent. We're not playing man-to-man. Right down the list. And the only thing about him is he has his opinions. He don't care what you think. And that's refreshing in my book. So do I hear it? Yeah, I hear it. And I do get that question. I honestly, from patients, it's almost probably once a week, if not more. Hey, coach going to be around? I'm like, yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, he's passionate. He's dialed in. They're getting, I believe they're getting good recruits. So it's not that the quote pipeline has run dry. It's still a very respectable program in the country. And somewhere I saw that we're number 11 in basketball traditions in the United States. So to take a school like Syracuse and put it on the map nationally, that's been a one-man job. And we need to thank him for that. So to me, do I hear it all the time? Yeah, I hear it all the time. Do I think it's fair? I hate to say it, but I think it's a little fair for people to ask, but I think it's unfair for them to expect, oh, he should just stop because of the calendar is a year older. You got to look at all the factors, you know. Are we competitive? Are we in games? I mean, there were games last year, again, 4 or 5 games, they turned the other way. It's not even a conversation. This year's the same thing, you know, Virginia, Carolina. There's 2 or 3 major games that we had. Not questionable, we had.
Yeah.
You know, last year was a game that couldn't have bound the ball on the sideline, and that cost us a game. You know, it's just, it's hard to swallow some of those losses and some of those things, but, you know, I look at all the other factors, and to me, I think you've earned the right to coach until you say, I'm done. You know, Mike Krzyzewski, he wasn't asked to leave. He decided to leave when he wanted to. Now, I do think with the way college basketball is, and coaches talk about it, with the portal, with the NIL, with all of the craziness that now surrounds it, and the instability that programs have, because you recruit a kid, then you got to keep recruiting them because they can leave tomorrow and go somewhere else and play right away. Which I agree. I think they should be. I think that you have to sit out a year. I don't agree with that. I never thought that was fair. So I don't disagree with that. But I think it's too easy. I think there should be windows. Here's a window and here's a window, and then that's it. So the portal's gotten things crazy. It's helped level the playing field for some. But I think in today's college basketball game, I think it's no secret Roy Williams, Jay Wright, Mike Krzyzewski, you know, the coach that was at Davis. There's no question that some of these guys got out because the way the game is played now, meaning all the other factors of getting players, is really changed. So that, to me, is a major factor, and I think that's up to coaches to decide if he's had enough of that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's had enough of competing to win. He's a competitive son of a gun. He always has been and always will be. And I think his style and technique is still very much what it has been. He's a no-nonsense guy. If he says he doesn't like something, he doesn't like. If you ask him if he doesn't like something, he'll tell you he doesn't like something. So it's not like you don't know where he stands.
Right.
So, I mean, he's pretty transparent. You know, you don't like the answer, ask me a different question. It's kind of refreshing in today's world. Like, you're not getting political comments. You're going to get what he thinks, and sometimes it's raw, especially if it's about one of our boys. Those are hard to listen to, but that's what he feels.
And to put him into perspective, going off of what we talked about, Jim Boeheim, 1 losing season in 47 seasons. The coach that can say 0, John Wooden. Beyond that, Dean Smith of North Carolina had one, well, people know him mostly of North Carolina. He had 1 losing season. Roy Williams has endured a losing season. And Mike Krzyzewski, believe it or not, in his career as a head coach overall, has had 4 losing seasons. Jay Wright has had 5. So when you look back on history, it's John Wooden, Jim Boeheim with Dean Smith with 1 losing season, and then Coach K, Roy, it's like, and so
pretty good company right
yeah,
there.
Pretty good company there that you could say John Wooden, then JB. And I say this to people all the time, and I said it to Gene Waldron yesterday. Jim Boeheim is essentially the prisoner of his own accomplishments. Because he has done so much to raise the bar at Syracuse, that bar is so high, and people have been spoiled for so long, that the mentality is that this is where he has to be. Now, he has had at least 20 wins a season, 41 times out of 47 tries, and this season's still going on. So you look at that, you look at making a Final Four in multiple different decades. Some teams never make it, some coaches never make it. You talk about winning a championship game. You go into all those pieces of it, the consistency of getting to the tournament, of getting into the Sweet 16. 25 wins, Sweet 16 has become a normalcy for Syracuse fans, where fans, I think, are probably trying to state their case right now. the logical people, because some people just like to see, what do they say in the movie, in the Batman movie that had Christian Bale and had Heath Ledger playing the Joker. We hear Alfred said, some men can't be bought, reasoned with, or negotiated. Some men just want to watch the world burn. So there are those, but then the people that are saying, hey, I'm going to bring some logic to this conversation, Sonny and Dan. Jim hasn't won 20 games in the last 4 seasons if he doesn't do it this season. So people are doing...
Hold on, I got to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Back to a Batman quote?
I did.
You dug deep for a Batman quote?
I did.
Oh, that's priceless.
Yeah. Some men can't be bought, reasoned with, or negotiated. Some men just want to watch the world burn. And that's how I feel about people on Twitter. And so, you know...
Those are the loudmouths. You know what's funny? We interviewed Coach on our podcast, the Big East Rewind, and it was funny. I brought that up. I was like, and he almost shirked it right off. He was like, it's not as much as you think. There's a couple people, and they have multiple accounts, and he says, they have their say. I was, because it torques me when I see some of that stuff. I couldn't deal with today's social media blitz on some of these young athletes and their psyches. It's brutal.
Yeah. So, I mean, but, Jim handles it well. He gives it right back. And as I tell people all the time, you're not in the room. And the media will bait him. The media will fight with him. The media will try and get him angry. There's people that ask questions and they smirk right after. They know what they're doing. And so my question to those people is, if your desire is to get Boeheim to retire, what are you going to write about when he does? What are you going to do? I mean, you've been trying to get famous for years off of fighting with him at a press conference. So if you can't become famous off of his success, what are you going to do when the next person comes in? And
you're not going to enjoy it very much.
So it's there's that reality of, I want this guy to leave, but I need him to stay. And that's something that, I don't understand, because I have a good relationship with Jim, and we've talked for 10 or 11 years now, and we discuss, in the press conferences where people ask questions and he gets heated or whatever you want to call it, we still talk about other things. We talk about judo, we talk about Malik Brown, we talk about things that are pertinent to basketball, because if you pay attention to Jim Boeheim, he wants to talk about the game. He wants to talk about individual performances. He wants to talk about scheming. He wants to discuss the nuances of the game. When you ask him, and I said this to somebody walking in a couple weeks ago, I said, mark my words, somebody's going to ask about Benny Williams, because it's the lightning rod, it's the drama, it's the one thing that they could pick apart in a close game that this team played against Virginia. Someone's going to go to the Benny thing. First question out of the gate. And I understand Jim's response of, you want to ask me about the only guy that didn't play in the game today? I get that. And by the way, it wasn't just Jim that had enough of that. Benny is different now. Benny 2 weeks ago, Benny today, Benny is different. Benny paid attention to the media that were respectful during that process and the people that weren't. And he doesn't even talk to those people anymore. So, there's a reality of Jim Boeheim also protecting his players, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that, Sonny.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. The only thing about that was, well, at least on the TV broadcast, because I noticed it right away. I was like, oh, I don't see Benny there.
Yeah.
So I made assumptions that, and I remember I texted Jeannie right away. I was like, Jeannie, what's going on? He was like, yeah, I know. And then the broadcasters of the game were talking about it. That's going to be addressed afterwards. That's going to be addressed afterwards. So I expected the first question to be that, because that was the buildup. And if I'm just trying to take a gauge of the media by what I heard on the broadcast, I wasn't surprised that was the first question. So that's my take on it. But I don't have my finger on the pulse of the media, and I only used as a gauge what the announcers were saying as the game was going on. And I think I did check a little bit on some social media, because I was looking to see if there was any quote experts out there that had a better angle on it. And again, it was the same thing that's going to be addressed after. And I think Mike Waters, put some things up, and I do enjoy Mike's stuff, and I like Mike a lot. And then Donna had some things written. So the people I know that follow the team had posted a few things, so I was expecting that to be the first question.
Yeah. I mean, I expected it to be the first question because it was the thing to get him going. I mean, there was not going to be an answer that was, there's going to be a response. Being around him as many years as I have, there was no way that he was going to go, oh, yeah, thank you for asking that question. Yeah, Benny's at home, blah, 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 blah. Like, it was not going to be, and listen, he didn't swear, he didn't yell. He said what he needed to say. Would I have said it differently? Probably. But Jim and I do not have the same personality at all. But at the same time, I understand a coach going through a game where you almost had a top 10 team, a number 6 team in the country, and you want to be excited for your guys and build off of this, and you've had a tough season. It's been tumultuous. It's been just like, oh my God, let's get a victory. And you get into a game like this, and you have them, and you're like, guys, we're almost there, and you want to drive home the fact that, like, my guys played this good against this team. And so, knowing his personality, I'm not surprised at his reaction.
Yeah, I get that, and I totally understand that. But I just then it probably in retrospect maybe a little bit of counseling before, hey, Coach Jim, this is what's going to happen. This is going to be the first question. I know, because after a loss, he's almost inconsolable. He's that fully invested in winning, and I'm not sure everybody can appreciate that. Like when we have alumni events and stuff, and it's always like, well, if we win, Coach will be here. If it's not, and we're like, we get it. Like, we understand it. We support him. We support the team, and we understand that he's got the emotions, the roller coaster of emotions that you have as a coach.
Yeah.
And then especially a high-profile coach who's been at it for so long, who's got plenty of people with binoculars on every step or microscope on every step of the way he makes. So we get it, and I think that's you're describing it pretty well, because in the heat of the moment, it's not what he wants to talk about. So to me, I guess if you were to look back and say, listen, Jim, here's a statement, read a statement, that kind of thing. But that's not really authentic. It's much better if he speaks from his heart. He's not reading something. I expected it to be a written statement, like, we're going to have a public comment on XYZ at today's press conference at 1. Yeah. Here's my comment, and we're taking no questions. That's not what a post-game conference is really about. A post-game conference is about the game. So I get his point. Yeah. Post-game press conference, right? That's what it should be about. But when they're told, hey, this is going to be described afterwards, of course that's going to be the first question.
Yeah. Well, and I know it too, because I've been in press conferences where they said, we're not going to talk about this, and that was the first question, the second question, the fourth question, the 8th question, the 11th question. So, you come to know it, but really what we're getting at here today, before I let you go, Sonny, is the fact that, granted, okay, does a 2-3 zone always work? No. Is Jim Boeheim perfect in everything? No. Is any human being? No. Is Jim in a class of him and Roy Williams have had one losing season, John Wooden's had 0, and then all the other guys I mentioned have had multiple? Then yes. I mean, he's in a unique class. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a huge part of the reason why you can't go anywhere in the world without somebody knowing Syracuse, New York. And I give him credit for that, for building up my hometown, for creating a connection wherever I go. If I wear anything Syracuse related, I get stopped. If I'm in Disney with people all over the world, it's like a daily thing that someone will stop you and be like, Cuse is in the house. And that's been for decades. So what Jim has done, and the players that have come in, and the coaches that have come in, there's been so many great things that have come from him being at Syracuse, and I understand people's frustration, and I also respect the man. So from your perspective, in your place, if you were the AD at Syracuse right now, what would be your public address and your public statement of understanding people's frustration, understanding that they haven't won as much lately, but also understanding that you have a Hall of Fame coach who is living in a class that is filled with a couple people sitting in chairs and the rest of the room left open, because nobody's done what he's done at one school. And then overall, he's one of a tiny, tiny few that have won at least 1,000 games.
Okay. Just rephrase that question one more time.
How you would just how you as the athletics director would stand in front of a podium and address, this is why this is our coach, this is why we have him. Yes, we understand what's going on now, and what have you done for me lately?
What would I say?
What would you say?
That's easy. We have Jim Boeheim. He's a Hall of Fame coach. His record speaks for itself. Next question. Really?
No, I know.
What more do I have to say to you? I don't need to describe, or I don't need to explain. He stands on his own, and his record, it speaks for itself. So I'm not going to sit there and color code it anyway. I mean, that's it. That's the bottom line. That would be the quickest press conference in the history of Syracuse University.
Yeah. When you have a coach that's winning for the majority of his career 70 to 73% of his games, I mean, there's constructive criticism, which I totally understand. I understand playing one zone. I understand not playing the full court press enough. I get all, and running plays on offense. I get that. And I sit here and I talk about it all the time. But at the same time, I tell people, as much as I may disagree with this game or this moment or that, I respect him and I respect who he is as a coach, because even though we may not agree, he is a hell of a coach. And there is no school on this planet that wouldn't have gone back in time in a DeLorean and wished that he came to their school.
Yeah, no question about it. I think he was almost at University of Rochester.
Yeah, you think about it. Would somebody not want Dean Smith, Roy Williams, Coach K, Jay Wright, John Wooden? If Syracuse could have John Wooden, Syracuse wanted Jay Wright. I mean, there's the reality of there's a short list of coaches. Bay is on it. And no matter what happens from here, he's always going to be on that list. And, you know, I know there's frustration of the fan base right now, but this guy, again, and I said it at the beginning of the year, if you can end the season with a winning record and more than half of your team is new, in a rebuilding year, in any sport, teams typically have a 500 or worse record. If you can end with a winning record, and most of those guys stay, you're proving to yourselves as a team that you're only going to get better. And if this team can keep it together, then I would like to hope that they're going to get better. And I guess the last note here, because we're talking about staying together, Sonny, NIL transfer portal, good or bad in this situation, because now jumping to the NBA, you don't have to necessarily if you get a good NIL deal. But Bay has lost a lot of, 3, 4, 5 guys each of these last few seasons, a bunch of guys transferring, going somewhere else or going to the NBA. What are your thoughts on NIL and transfer portal? Can this be an advantage to Syracuse to keep the team together better than in past years? How do you look at it?
The NIL component, I think, is really changing the landscape, and I think that's probably the $65 million question. I mean, the fact that there's no borders, there's no rules, there's no regulations. Initially, the university couldn't get involved at all. Now you have different people and departments set up to help them, get NIL. The University of Alabama sets up a fan store with the Fanatics group, and so they're fully immersed in doing it. So that they want to come up there. It's in the football stadium. So if they want to sell jerseys, if they want to come do autograph sessions, it's all underneath the guise of the university. So although I think the NCAA, I think what they said is, you guys want it, here you have it. We're not touching it. And I think they're waiting for there to be a loud enough voice that says, hey, come in and fix this. This thing is out of control.
Yeah.
And then they become the heroes, and then they get on their white horses, and then they ride into to help everyone out, which I think the NCAA has zero control. And I think Jay Billis should be the president of the NCAA, and I think we should have a hell of a lot better organization because it's been mismanaged for years. it's $1 billion corporation, and
Yeah.
and to treat it any other way is absurd. It's a business.
It's $1 billion non-profit is what they call themselves.
Yeah.
So no, I agree, and I like that Jay Billis, I like anybody that has the wherewithal to look at the writing on the wall and see the dominoes falling and call it out. I have no problem doing that. I'm happy that Jay will live in that world as well, because you got to be honest about what's going on out there. Sonny Spera, Syracuse Orange men's basketball alum, here with me today on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Café Kubal studios to talk all things Cuse. Sonny, it has been a minute, but as you know, during tournament week, as I have done for many years now, it is Syracuse alumni from the basketball team all throughout the week, regardless of where Syracuse advances or doesn't advance to. All week long while I'm in Greensboro, I will have Syracuse alumni on. And Sonny, in just a couple weeks here, I'd love to have you back on the show to continue to have your expertise and your thoughts, and I always appreciate having you on.
Oh, my pleasure. Always great to talk to you, Dan, and have some sanity in our crazy world.
Yeah, listen, it's always good, Sonny. So thank you for all you do, and big shout out over the years for always making yourself available to be a part of the show and everything that we've gotten to do, the conversations we've gotten to have. I really respect and appreciate the fact that you give so much time, and it means a lot to me that you care about the team the way you do and the community, and everything that you do in the community in general doesn't go unnoticed, and our time together means a lot to me. So thank you for taking the time that you take.
Well, same here. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
You got it.
Take care. That coming from Sonny Spera one more time on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We'll take a final step aside on today's broadcast, wrap things up right after this from inside of the Café Kubal studios. Love that from Sonny. What did he say? I said, if you're the AD, what would you say? He said, Jim Boeheim's a Hall of Famer. He's our coach. Next question. Folks, I get it. I get it. You don't have to go back and check the tape. I get it. There's been times where I've constructively criticized Boeheim and disagree with him. And there's times where I've defended him. And I think you can live in both. I defend the fact that he is a Hall of Famer and he should be able to leave when he wants to. I also believe that whoever comes in after him, fans are going to lose their mind over and probably give a lot of crap to right off the bat and say you're not Boeheim. It's the irony of wanting Boeheim to leave and then comparing everybody to Boeheim and being like, well, you're not as good as Boeheim. But it's like, wait a minute. You didn't think Boeheim was as good as Boeheim when you wanted him to leave, and now you think nobody else is as good as Boeheim. It's kind of hypocritical, right? If Boeheim isn't good enough for you, and then that's the level that you want somebody to get at, you're saying, well, Boeheim's level's too low, but then this guy's not at the level that's too... It doesn't make sense. It's hypocritical. So, yes, I constructively criticize some things that I see in the game. I never personally attack, because that's wrong to do ever in life. And at the same time, I respect him. Okay? I grew up here. Syracuse is my hometown. This is where my family on both sides decided to raise their future and live out their lives. My grandparents, my parents, me. I have watched Jim Boeheim my entire life coach this team. And as a broadcaster of 19 plus years right now, as a reporter, broadcaster, whatever you want to call host, being in a place where I've worked my tail off to cover athletics, can you tell me a better place in America to cover college basketball? There's the people that cover Coach K at Duke. There's the people that covered Dean Smith and Roy Williams at North Carolina. There's the people that covered Jay Wright at Villanova. There's the people that covered John Wooden at UCLA. And there's the people that cover Syracuse, Jim Boeheim in Syracuse. What other coaches? I wouldn't put John Calipari on that list. I wouldn't put Rick Pitino on that list. There's a short, tiny list. There's a tiny list. Maybe Brad Stevens if he had stayed longer, right? But look at the history. And I'm not trying to knock it. Again, no personal attack. I'm just saying John Calipari, he was marred by things that happened where he would go somewhere and then they would get sanctioned. So, that's been marred by that. And then you say, well, Jim Boeheim got sanctioned Dan too. And I would say, yeah. And when I look back at that, and I look back at John Calipari, if Jim Boeheim lost 101 games and John Calipari should have lost years. I mean, there should have been a show cause penalty because he would go to a school, the school would get punished, he would leave and make more money at a different school, but he would never get punished. So the person that did it doesn't get punished, but the school gets punished of where he was there, and he's no longer there. You're going to punish the building, but not the person that did the things in that building. You're going to punish the building, but not the person. That makes no sense. So, and in the case of Jim Boeheim, they punished him. Whether he was a part of something or not, they punished him. So, and that in and of itself is another story of hypocrisy. But when you look at, if you were covering college basketball, where would you want to be? Gino Auriemma at UConn, Pat Summitt at Tennessee. There's a short list. Maybe Dawn Staley now at South Carolina. There's a tiny, tiny list. There's such a tiny list. And that world is not always appreciated, right? If Dawn has a bad year, somebody's going to flip out. When Gino lost back-to-back games for the first time in a billion years. I mean, I talked about it earlier this season. This man hasn't lost back-to-back games. Back-to-back games. It was like a 30-year span. He had not lost 2 games in a row. That's insane. That's insane. Can John Wooden even say that, right? John Wooden lost games. So, I mean, when you go back and you look at these coaches, the media can say whatever they want to say about Jim Boeheim, but they love that they get him. Whether people admit it or not, any person that has covered Jim Boeheim in their career can say, I interviewed a Hall of Famer. I interviewed Jim Boeheim. I interviewed the second winningest coach in the history of men's college basketball. I interviewed a Hall of Famer. I interviewed someone who has been to multiple Final Fours, who's won a national championship. Whether people admit it or not, you could have ended up in any other city. You could have ended up with a team that you cover that's trying to make an NCAA tournament for the first time in their career, in their history as a school. So, to me, say what you want to say about Jim Boeheim. I've talked about things, again, I agree with and I disagree with. But at the end of the day, be honest with yourself. If you are a true Syracuse fan, whether or not you agree or disagree with him, you have lived a very privileged life that so few fan bases have ever gotten to live. Remember that the next time you boo in the Dome. And can we eradicate that? Can we stop booing at home against your own team? They get enough of that on the road. Don't boo your team, and I don't care what fan base you are. Do not boo your team at home. Because why would you want the Dome to be Cameron Indoor? Why would you want the Dome to be the Pete where Syracuse is going to play this weekend? Come and cheer. You don't have to agree with everything. But do not boo your players, your coach, any of that. And don't boo the people that miss the half-court shots. Somebody missed, they're sitting in the lazy boy, and they shoot the thing. They miss the shot, and fans, and they miss it wide, right? There's an awful shot. And fans boo. Now, booing the person that jumped in front of the guy and didn't let him take the half-court shot, I'm fine with that, because that's some BS all day. But that was actually, you know what? That was my annoying moment of the week, was that the Syracuse staff at the university jumped in front of a guy to shoot a half-court shot. Number one, he should not be getting his own ball because that takes time off the clock. You did not get the ball for him. You just stood there and watched, as they typically do over the last couple of years. So give him the ball. Let him shoot it. There was 3 seconds on the clock, and he was walking back to the half-court line. The fact that you jumped in front of him, said no more, and took the ball from him is one of the worst moments I've seen in the Dome, on the court, in my 37 years of existence. It may be in the top 3. So let's knock that off. and never do that again. Okay? Let that man shoot that shot. Okay? Let a brother live. That's how I feel about that. We'll take a step aside. That was the true annoying moment of the week. I totally forgot about that until right now. Ugh. I was pissed about that for a while. I was like, what the hell? So fans, you want to boo at that? Fine. But don't boo your coach. Don't boo your players. Unless they do something criminal or stupid, just wrong, just a bad thing, don't be booing your players, okay? So let's be respectful, and let's realize this is a privilege. It is a privilege for you to be a Syracuse fan. It is a privilege because you can literally say that you are on a list of this many places. There's over 300 Division I men's basketball teams, and there's this many teams that had a coach like Jim Boeheim. So remember that the next time you go, oh my God, if this guy does the zone one more time, I'm going to blow my brains out. You may not agree with it. You may not agree with it, and I don't always agree with it. But I respect the man or woman that would take a city and make it known around the world in a positive way. So shout out to Jim Boeheim for letting people know what Syracuse is, because that's been a really cool experience as I travel, for people to stop me and go, what up, Cuse? How you doing? So that doesn't happen without Floyd Little, Jim Brown, Ernie Davis, Donovan McNabb, Jim Boeheim, Carmelo Anthony, Jerry McNamara, Hakeem Work, Danny Shays, Billy Owens, Pearl Washington, Derek Coleman, John Wallace, Cuse in the house, oh my God, that whole team, and on and on and on and on and on. So, shout out to everybody that put Syracuse on the map, including Jim Boeheim. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back right after this to wrap up today's show from inside of the Café Cubal studios.
Café Cubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Café Cubal needs. Café Cubal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsa Cuse, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Woody Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus.
This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. I hope you're having yourselves a fantastic day. Hopefully we made your day a little bit better and brighter here. That's always what my plan is to do. That's always what we strive to do here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So we appreciate you being here with us inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all / WakeUpCallDT. WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage, where the MixLR feed is embedded, and on Facebook.com / LiveNowDT. Once the shows go live, they jump into our archives. There's plenty of new shows there, and there'll be more added here on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube, as well as others. You can search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of these. Type it in, your CarPlay, and pick it up there. A lot of your CarPlays are preset to different podcasting platforms that you're seeing on the screen right now. So you go to iHeart, type in Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or Wake Up Call DT as one word. You'll find us, and you can click follow, bookmark, save, so when the shows get added, you'll be able to know. And a big thanks to all of our incredible partners in our community of Central and Upstate New York: Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Woody Wicks, Avicoli's, PB&J's Lunchbox, K9 Camp Dog Daycare, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Chick-fil-A Watertown, Mother's Cupboard, Great Lakes Honda City, K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Pizza Man, and 317 at Montgomery. The name of the restaurant is the name of the location, 317 at Montgomery Street in downtown Syracuse. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. And this spins up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And guess what? This just in. The swimming and diving teams for the men's and women's at Lemoyne College, the Dolphins have advanced as of this morning. So they went to play in the NE10 championships, and now they're in the ECAC. So they played in the NE10s in the conference. They've advanced to the ECAC, deeper into the postseason. And as of this morning, both men's and women's 200 has made the finals at the ECAC swimming championships. So I am so ecstatic and so happy for these teams. Could not be happier. So big out. So the freestyle advancement, once again, as of this morning, just got this message from the head coach of Lemoyne Swimming and Diving, Adam Zakowski. Both men's and women's 200 freestyle have made it to the finals at the ECAC Swim Championships, which means that we are continuing on in the postseason with the Lemoyne Dolphins. And speaking of the postseason, continuing on, tonight at 7 p.m. at Ted Grant Court, Lemoyne men's basketball will have their first game of the NE10 tournament and hope to move forward and advance with a shot at trying to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. And then over the weekend, the women's basketball team will play in the NE10 tournament as well. So we got postseason for swimming and diving, postseason swimming and diving continues today, and they just advanced to the finals. Big shout out to the men and women 200 freestyle. And tonight, the men's basketball team will tip off at 7 p.m. at Ted Grant Court, right off of Erie Boulevard in Syracuse, New York. So come out and see men's basketball as they look to continue on their season. And the women's basketball team trying to do the same thing later on over the weekend. So you can find the Dolphin time with the Dolphins of Lemoyne College by being here with us Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where we bring you every first and third Wednesday AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. All of that content can be found by going to our YouTube channel and subscribing, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And of course, you can also go to the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com. For more information on your Dolphins, head to LemoyneDolphins.com. And as always, fins up. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. The Bobcat Buzz comes to you every single month exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You could subscribe to our YouTube channel to get all of our Bobcat content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and clicking subscribe. You can also subscribe to wakeupcalldt.com and bookmark our Bryan and Stratton page, BSC Syracuse, on wakeupcalldt.com. Stay tuned for a fantastic conversation with Tay Baker that will go far beyond the sport of basketball, and that's coming up this week, that we're coming into with the Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. We appreciate all the stories we get to tell with student athletes and coaches of this wonderful institution that is only getting bigger and better, and I'm very happy to be able to bring you this story with Tay Baker. It's going to be very, very special and very unique. So I want to tell you, but I can't tell you yet, but I'm excited to tell you soon. And you could get more information on your Bobcats by going to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. I want to thank Carvel for the annoying moment of the week, as always, every Friday. I want to thank Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, the acronym. I want to thank Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, and Lily for the top dog of the week, which is all those people that have the jobs that we really need to thank that help us to go about our normal day. Think about if our trash wasn't picked up and our roads weren't paved and people didn't salt the roads. We wouldn't be able to do the things we need to do. We get up in the morning and go outside as if none of this stuff is an issue. And the reason why none of this stuff is an issue a lot of the time is because we have people doing it. So thank you to all of them. We appreciate you so very much. And a big thanks to Sonny Spera for rejoining the show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, talking Cuse Hoops and basketball in general with me for many years, as well as life in general. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. And as always, God bless, no stress, do your best. We'll talk.